Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for joining us today. God bless you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a great time. Casey, thank you. We were really blessed by your time. Thank you. I'm glad that we are able to have this today. Thank God for the opportunity to do this. By every human standard, we shouldn't have been able to hold this session today, but we are grateful to God for allowing us, providing this opportunity for us to hold this session in a very beautiful atmosphere. I'm sure some of you looking at me, you will love the background and, so this is going to be a good time and it's going to be a great time. So I'm just waiting for our guests. I appreciate Wale, Judah, Toyin, Evangelist Dayo, Shegun, Balaji, KC, Shola. Thank you for joining. God bless you. It's very, very important discussion, and I was not even expecting that I'll be doing this at one point or the other in my life. So I'm just going to ask our guests to join. So much time. Say Philip has blown. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Thank you for joining. I'm just waiting on our guests because I don't want us to take any further time, because I know this discussion is always something that people have a lot of comments and a lot of things to say. Good afternoon, Pastor Matthew. Oyebode, thank you. What's the meaning of Al-Qaeda? I don't understand. Thank you, KC. Thank you for joining, Dr. KC. Yes, I also added you. He's saying, waiting on you, Mayowa. Saying, waiting on you. Let me. They say you are blown. I've not blown, no. I will soon send my account number to all of you, so you can bless me. Thank you very much. It's a very important one. Yes, I'm adding you. Hey!
Man of God.
I celebrate you. Honestly. I celebrate you very
Good to be
much.
here.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I really appreciate that. Before we continue, I must appreciate Timmy for allowing you to do this at this time of the day too. We must.
We're fellow night crawlers.
Oh.
10 p.m. is still, the night is not too young, not too old, it's fine.
All right. Thank you so much for making our time to be with us today. We really appreciate it. Yes, I'm sure you know me for some time now, and I've never at any time in my life spoken about rape publicly. I've never, but I know I've had one or two occasions to counsel rape survivors, because we don't call them victims, we call them survivors. And the two occasions, I didn't have a response for them. I didn't know what to tell them. The first time was like 10 years ago. I was, passionate talking about forgiveness. Let's forgive people, it's for your own good, blah, 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 blah. And somebody just walked up to me after talking and told me that, how do you expect me to forgive my father that raped me for about 10 years now? And I was dumbfounded. I didn't have a response. What to tell the person? I can't just say, forgive the person and let it go. It would have been stupid of me to just talk like that, So I knew that it's a big, big issue that people face. And like the first session that we had, the person that Spokane said. He said something that I never thought of. Shame. Shame, it thrives in darkness. Immediately, anyone that's a survivor of rape comes out to speak, even though we are going to get into that, because it's a question that I need you to also answer. The issue of whenever a rape survivor comes in, I have checked the trend. Most times, the persons that attack the rape survivor are the female folks. It bothers me a lot. I don't understand that too, because we're going to also get into that. What do you think is wrong in that situation, whereby when a rape survivor comes up to talk about the experience, people begin to, and I check comments, females are the ones that are attacking, telling the person indecent dressing. As a matter of fact, anyone, I made it a point of duty, anyone that I see that talks about indecent dressing, when the rape comes up, I expose them. It is very stupid to talk about indecent dressing. A 65-year-old woman was raped in my community. People rape 6-month-year-old. Can you tell me they were indecently dressed? That's why they were raped. So anyone that talks about indecent dressing when rape comes to play, those are very ignorant or stupid people or potential rapists. Or they are in it already. So that's why we are going to that direction, and it becomes a passion for me until now. If I have opportunity to show you my phone, I don't know why. I have so many messages and calls from rape survivors. I'm saying, what is, I preach. I talk about all kinds of things except rape. So I know that there's something that God is bringing my attention to. And I've been doing a lot of research. I've written a lot of things right now about this situation. So I want us to discuss it. And I discussed with a male, but a lot of people also be asking me, bring a female, let there be a female perspective on this issue. And that's why I thought of talking about it. There are so many controversial and muddy waters when rape are spoken about in terms of rape in the religious circles, rape in the family. Those are very muddy waters that I don't want us to. But we can also mention it because we need to begin to expose these acts, evil acts, so that people can be more aware. The tool of media in exposing these acts. So I want you to talk about this experience and what you think, why we should talk about this situation and your opinion using the tool of media that you have used over time. What is the effect and the importance of media in discussing such vices in our community?
All right, thank you very much. I must appreciate you for finding me worthy to have this conversation. It's a very huge topic, and I think rape in itself is the bigger monster. The seed itself is just this culture of silence.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, in my opinion, the seed is the culture of silence that every other thing now thrives on, whether it's rape, whether it's, suppression of any kind of oppression, whatever else, whatever vice, whatever evil. And as you said, as Casey said, that shame thrives in darkness.
Yeah.
There's a saying I've been saying, something I've been saying for a long time, is that sin thrives in secrecy.
Yeah.
And I think this is scriptural.
Yeah.
When the sin is, oh, let's cover it up, oh, hush hush about it, it doesn't die, it grows in darkness. So when, with this culture of silence is something that is also a part of us in this part of the world. I can speak of our part of the world because that's what I know, right? So in the society, in the church, in any setting, and it starts from family as well, which is, the smallest unit of society and the most important unit, actually. So it starts from, they mustn't hear. And it's as if people think that if we don't talk about it and if we don't expose it, it'll go away. But that's not true. right? So when we try to shield the sin, we're not making it go away. It's actually getting, and so that's one thing. But and I think I would disagree on your opinion about, you see more women shaming rape survivors. I think it cuts across. So it's not even a what men think or what women think. It's just society in general. Look at every vice, every evil that you can find in society. You will find both men are supporting. Ultimately, people are products of the society in which they're born. So you would find both sexes and both genders, doing this thing, attacking survivors. And I must mention that, yes, I know that a lot of people will say that, oh, is it just women? Men get raped too and all that. Yes, men get raped. And I think that's another topic that definitely we should be having. But if you look at the statistics, it's like when we discuss all lives matter versus black lives matter, there are always issues that affect everyone in society. But sometimes you have to look at which is the biggest evil to deal with right now. When you see statistics that says that 1 in every 3 women would either have been raped or would have suffered some kind of sexual abuse, 1 in every 3, that's scary. That's if you have 5 women in one room. If you have 3, you get 3 women, 3 friends, female friends, one of them. That's scary. And because of this culture of silence, people are going about in clothes, looking pretty, praising God, and you don't know what they've experienced.
Yes.
And these things, it may have happened years ago, but it plays out all through their lives. Look at even small, let's not look at rape. Let's look at, you ask, oh, maybe you see someone with a history of bad relationship, or someone who had like a very poor father-daughter relationship. Not rape, they just didn't have a good relationship with her father. And then you see her making wrong decisions as comes to men. That if at that level you see the ripple effect of a bad relationship with the father in the choices a female makes, in the types of men she gets involved with, how much more rape? And it's beyond physical, it's psychological. There's so many arguments. So for me, in my post that I did on my page, just talking about this, it was really painful. And I think people don't get the picture. A lot of people don't get the picture, and maybe I'd say most men don't get it, because if you talk about sexual molestation and abuse, it's a thing that's almost common with women. Like, we know as a female, it's not new. Do you get, you're going somewhere, somebody taps your backside, or somebody you're in a bus, you sit down, and somebody just uses style to touch you in a funny way. It's like normal. It's almost the normal experience of the average, Nigerian female. So that's not even rape. But, because most men, that's not what they experience. You don't hear most men say, oh, I sat in the bus and one woman was trying to touch me in a funny way. You don't really hear that. And of course, we know that women are more vulnerable because of obviously, men have physical strength more than women on a larger scale. So if you put all these things together, then you see how big of a problem it is. So it's not one point, it's from different angles. From the fact that, as a young person, as a young female, for instance, you grew up in a society where people just touch you anyhow. And because you don't, maybe you don't have a very solid relationship with your parents, or that communication never existed. It's not something you go and meet your mom and say, mommy, this person touched me in a funny way, because there's some kind of shame and secrecy attached. You keep quiet. As a person growing up, it was common with me. Like, you have all this. So my mom had shops. She was a trader. So shop was like a supermarket, and I would be there in the shop, sometimes by myself, just helping out with the shop. You have men come to buy stuff. Then next thing, somebody's touching you in a funny way. You know, I never ever told my mom about those things. Never. I have an experience of I was much older. I think I was done with, maybe I was in secondary school. I was going on the road. I was just walking the road, and then this bike passes by with two men on it, and one just spy. The bike is going. That's what we experience. So, but I never, it's not something I'll go home and say, "Oh, mommy, this happened," because we never had that line of communication open. So it's also important that as our generation going forward, that we make sure, and this is already happening, that awareness. Now they're telling parents are now teaching their children from an early age about, nobody should touch you here. We're now telling kids what their body parts are called. So it's not, my pee. No, it's your penis or it's your vagina. Name it. Don't shroud it in secrecy and make it a shameful thing. I know for the longest time, sex has been made into this shameful thing, so it's like everything associated with sex is shameful. So it's always, let's not talk about it. So I think for me, that culture of silence needs to be broken. If we're going to in any way begin to fix this problem, we must encourage people speaking. Right? So, and people need to, and I think another important thing that people need to understand is, just because you've not experienced something, just because you don't understand it, and I think for me, this is even the most important message. Just because you don't understand it, you can't figure it out. You say, "Oh, maybe it happened 10 years ago. Why are you talking now?" I was molested a lot in my childhood. Why am I talking now? Do you get?
Yeah.
Even when it comes to, we talk about office, stuff, there's a lot that goes on. But because our society doesn't encourage, parenting society, everything doesn't really encourage people speaking up and shaming the perpetrators, it is hidden. It's until one day, maybe you have sort of healed to an extent. Maybe now you are bolder. Maybe now you realize that you should not carry the shame. The shame should belong to the perpetrator, and you have the boldness to speak. Sometimes, of course, when someone else speaks, then there's boldness for you to also speak as well. If this person can speak, I think I can do it. I cannot continue to live with this shame. I'm going to speak out, and it doesn't matter how long, So because something happened 10 years ago, does it mean it didn't happen? It happened. And I think it's even more painful and frustrating when you see the perpetrator just living free, and you don't even know what damage they're still causing in the society. Do you understand? So if my appeal to people is, if you don't understand it, if you've not experienced it, your first reaction should not be to ask stupid questions. Why are you just talking now? Oh, the person is now rich. The person is now a celebrity. That's why you're talking. Oh, did you enjoy it? Because, there's also that thing they say, oh, Chibi, you will not enjoy it. Hello? If I want sex willingly, I'm sure that anybody who wants sex willingly knows where to go to get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's my choice to give my body to someone. And once that power is taken away, then there's a damage done already. So it's not a matter of, oh, you enjoyed it, so why are you complaining? No. So please, for people who do not really understand it and I can't get why you're just talking, can't you just forget it? No, that forgetting it is where the problem is coming from. That's why the rapists will continue, because, except Christ has saved them or they've repented, that's why they'll continue to build their catalog, because they are also being covered. You are covering them. Don't cover the rapists. Don't cover the rape apologists even, because the rape apologists are also encouraging the rapists.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we should shame both the rapist and the rape apologists. And some people, maybe they just don't realize. So let's teach them as well.
Somebody else said that he will slap anyone who says, sure you did not enjoy it. What our rape mindset is that, So now we have some, like I want to raise the point about how do we handle, because there are different types of rape. You are hearing what we are saying. So, because we need to talk about awareness when it comes to the female and then the male. The awareness is not the same. So let's focus more because of the bigger issue with the female. So let's focus more on that. And that's why we want to hear from a lady's perspective. There's what is called, one of the most dangerous ones we have mentioned is acquaintance rape. Acquaintance rape is the family one. I've heard that one a lot of times.
And that's the most common.
It's the most common because let's cover it up in the family, let's not. So because even the one that's born again, if somebody comes up, if Christ has forgiven a person, the laws of the land can still take its rightful place. It's forgiven, whatever the law of the land says. If the person is found guilty 20 years after, 30 years after, and it is confirmed guilty, the law of the land should take its place. Christ
I
forgives.
totally agree with you.
So how do we stop this menace of acquaintance rape, the most common one? How do we?
So for me, as first of all, Christian, I'm born again. I'm trying to work out my salvation. I love Jesus. I believe in all the things Jesus preached, forgiveness, all that fun stuff. Yes. But I think for me, sometimes I see myself as sort of like a radical Christian. I don't know if it's because of my upbringing or if it's because of my background as a journalist. But I put common sense. I do not leave it behind. And I'm a very, like some of my friends call me no nonsense, female.
Yeah, I'll call you like that.
I don't know if that's because, as in, so I'm used to people seeing me as this. They see me and they say, when they first met me, I was very serious. So when they see like me funny and playful, they are surprised. I'm like, I thought I'm actually a playful person, but I not mix my own Christianity with stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of my background as a journalist, of course, the tenets of journalism, objectivity. So listen to both sides, due course of law, like common sense things. So my Christianity is balanced, and I'm stretching that because of where I'm going. You see, when we talk about this acquaintance thing, which is mostly family setting, and let's bring in church, because church kind of is family as well.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing. When you talk about church stuff, it's also family as well. So everything is kind of under family. It's because we have been clouded. People mix values wrongly. So because somebody is your family member, right, doesn't mean that when they break the law, you shield them. You cover, because maybe you love them so much, you don't want them to be punished for what they've done. You're not helping them. You're not helping them. You're not helping in any way. That is not love. In short, if they get that person in jail, they should make you sleep 2 weeks there with the person. So my no-nonsense personality, I don't know if it's because of no-nonsense or something else, is that, see, I love you, but you've got to face the music. Yes. Because even God, when in his love, it chastises us. It chastises the ones he loves. So who are we human beings when somebody defaults, that level of defaulting such that, government needs to be invited, police needs to be invited. We try to cover them and shield them. You can be saved in prison. Yeah. Jesus can say, see, God loves you. God will make them change the law. You come back. You would have learned your lesson. Yeah. I mean, come on, disciples were locked up in prison. So who are you? And that's for the gospel. So you see this, I don't know what to call it, whatever it is that makes us as a people show love wrongly, because it's a wrong show of love. Someone has done something and you try to cover it up because you, and you know, it's also the same thing with tribalism and stuff. So you see, popular case Nigeria, oh, Mr. A has stolen whatever. His people will rally around him. They will say, ah, maybe Mr. B's people, if Mr. B did it, his people too will rally around him, which will rally around. But this is evil. Is it evil or is it not evil? It is evil. Let the person face the music and let them face God. Yes, their souls will be saved, which is the beauty of it. But they need to face their consequences for actions.
Yeah.
So whether it's in the family, I'm sorry. It's just, for me as a person, if you misbehave, wherever you are, father, mother, I love you, but I will tell you the truth. And if you need to face the music, you will face the music. That is how I show you that I love you. If someone is misbehaving, for instance, a child is misbehaving and, you know, following the wrong path, and you say because of love, you don't correct them, you don't beat them when you need to beat them. For countries that can beat, I don't know if in Canada they allow you to beat children. But you get what I'm saying. If you don't chastise, if you don't use discipline is also a gift from God. If you don't use it, you are not showing love. You are destroying that person, and whatever destruction that person, you know, eventually ends up, you should collect shares and be dividend because you're a shareholder in that business. You should collect dividend.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the problem is. Because this person belongs to me, I'm going to cover them. I'm going to shield them because I love them. It is wrong. Let people feel discipline is a gift from God. Discipline is how God corrects us, and He's giving it to us as well. And that is how we should also correct one another. If somebody rapes someone, such a grievous offense, and you let them go scot-free just like that, what are you telling them? Carry on.
Yeah, I
That's
agree
what
with
you're
you.
saying.
I agree with you when you spoke about covering up for people is also scriptural. The Bible talks about not those that do them, also those that have pleasure in those that do those things. The same punishments for those people.
You're a shareholder in that business. You should collect dividends.
You know, you also spoke about discipline. Do you know I had an experience there in Canada with a elderly white woman about how they discipline their word. They said they look up to us Africans, the way we discipline our children, and they become very responsible. And then we come abroad, we want to start copying the way they take their children to the basement in their house because nobody's going to hear them.
Exactly.
They deal with them there, and after dealing with them, they cry, they sit them down, and tell them that if you cry to the police, they will take you away. You will not see your brother.
You will suffer.
You will not see your sister again. You will not see, and all of those things. So sometimes we actually meet the values and everything. Somebody said something, I want you to, he said, that's very easy to say. It's actually not easy to give up a relative when a capital punishment is involved.
What's a capital punishment? Death?
Death.
So, for instance, I think, see, I can agree with the person's perspective. You know, some things are easier said than done. But you don't build yourself up on the day of trouble. I think there must be a scripture.
Yes.
You know, you start from before. You see, the values you hold on to now, even before that day. All right, before you find yourself in a certain situation, the mindset that you have given yourself, the beliefs that you have given yourself, oh, this is what I'm going to do if this happens, it plays an important role.
Yes.
So yes, I've not experienced, you know, any situation, and God forbid, but I've not been in a situation where a relative needs to face the music and serious music like that. But I believe that with what I'm professing today, and I think it's scriptural, it's not the day you're going to battle, you start training. What do you stand for? I think that's it. Always focus on the most important thing. You see that, oh, is your relative, so is going to be difficult. That's secondary. What is the primary thing? What is the important thing? Evil, see, because my mom says she's Yoruba, as in she teaches us Yoruba, she's all those Yoruba Christians. So there are many your things come to me in Yoruba. Ibi lere ibi. Is that not even that the Bible says that?
Yeah, that's evil.
Sorry.
Evil is the word
Let me
for
show that I'm a journalist. Ibi is wickedness or evil.
Evil.
Yeah, that's what you sow is what you reap.
Yes.
So let's work with principles first before we. Even God, when He punishes His children, is it not God that made those children?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that most of the people watching will be Christians as well.
Yeah.
And well, I'm a Christian anyway, so pardon me if I'm using a lot of God reference and Bible reference for people who are not very, spiritual. But this is the truth. Even when God punishes the children of Israel, He made them, He chose them out of all the tribes of the world. He calls them. And then He punishes them in such terrible ways sometimes. So are you saying your own love is great?
It's not great. Oh, wonderful. We're enjoying this. I love talking about this kind of issues. Network help also. Wonderful time of discussion. All right. Let me just remove an app. Pardon us, people. Let me just add our guests back. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Thank you. We need to focus more on acquaintance rape, and then we move forward. So I'm sending a request to our guests. Acquaintance rape is the most common. I'm expecting your comments, questions, your contributions. We must shamify the perpetrators. Shame does not belong to the survivor of rape. Just a moment, please. Sorry, I'm trying to add my OR back to this. Okay, thank you. My OR is back now. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. So, because we need to also talk about the signs, the warning signals, and all of that for rape. No, we can't. Let's not talk about Nigeria as a case study, because the age of 12 is really is crazy. Age of consent for sex, 12 years old. That's crazy. That's just crazy. We can't even talk about that today, because that's not even something that makes any sense whatsoever at all. So we have been talking about acquaintance rape, the most common, church and family. As well, because in church we have older ones that we trust in church, and they take advantage of people. We trust them, and then they take advantage of the trust that people have to also take advantage of them. So we want to talk about the warning signals. The warning signals. I'm waiting for Maya to join us again. Oh, this is wonderful. So awareness. So we must be aware that rape is real. Be aware that men can force you. People that go to events, parties, you don't leave your drinks unattended to. Some of those things, substance use, and all of those things. We're going to talk about the warning signals. Yes, my wife's back. Thank you for your patience. Okay. We're waiting for a video. Yes, I did already. I did already. People here. People don't know that Maya was unable to join. Oh, wow. We are waiting for her because we also need to talk about the issue of the medical doctor that spoke with us the other day told us that there is even rape after consent. That's another aspect that people don't know. He mentioned something that's very raw, but it's very, very true. In the act of sex itself, consent can be withdrawn in the act of sex. And he said that for every female or guy that's listening to us, your safety is more important than the orgasm of your partner or whoever you're having sex with. That's very, very, very serious truth that everyone should know. Your safety, even in the act of sex, is more important than the orgasm of the partner in sex. So that's very, very powerful statement to make. Very, very powerful. I agree with that statement. And we will have to be careful with anyone that uncles and aunties that comes. Let there be, there must be, our children must be taught. All those uncles say, oh, you're not a big girl. Come and sit on my lap. Come and sit on my thigh. All of those things you must watch against all of those things. Oh, you have grown so big now. Come and sit on my must be stopped. What's going on? I don't know. Somebody said na slap. Oh. Okay. Yes. Those uncles and aunties. Somebody said na slap as well. Thank God. Thank God.
I had to be praying. I said, about God, take control.
Yeah. So people are just talking about something funny while you are trying to join in. They're talking about all those uncles and aunties that comes and say, you have grown to a big girl. Come and sit on my lap.
No more. The funny thing is, in a normal day, not everyone who says that is, should be suspected. But the world has become what it is. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's just what it has become. Now, Corona, everybody mask up. As a person, I don't enjoy wearing the mask. But you better be safe than sorry. Even when I don't wear it sometimes. If I hear, stay straight. Is what the world has become, and it's better to be safe than. And because this thing is not written on I'm just like Corona. It's not written on the forehead. You're not going to look at one uncle and say, uncle ye, or this auntie. No. I mean, how much more fathers who rape their own daughters? Who would ever? Which sane person will look at the father that gave birth to a child and say, this man? So that is to show you how bad it is. And sometimes when you see comments online on women saying, remember there's a TVC colleague of mine who made a comment one time and she got in big trouble. I can understand it, but see, it's what the world has become. Are there not fathers raping children?
Yeah.
So which father will you point to and say, it's not written in the face. It's not. There's no sign for it. So now you can imagine if even some women are being careful of their own husbands in the house.
Yeah.
God help us. It's not written, except maybe God reveals this to you. It's not written on the face. So it's better to be on the safe side than, it's just what it has become. And it's better to have a child, how they will train us. Don't eat this, don't eat that. It's not like all the food we're being offered was bad, or everybody that offered us had bad intentions. It's just so that, let's not tell stories that touch. Let's stay on the safe side. So it's the same way.
No.
I think we're talking about, what were we talking about?
I can't even remember. A lot of people have said a lot of other things. But
Oh
nobody,
yeah, I remember someone was saying that
acquit
it's
us.
easy when it's your relative. While we're talking about
Yeah,
this
we're talking
being
about
a gift.
capital punishment when it comes to how do you give up a relative at that point.
So I'm not. So see, let me tell you, I've gone through different spectrums when it comes to rape. I've been the team castrate. I'm sure that if people dig up some of my posts online, I've posted about castration before, because yes, is that terrible? If I'm talking about castrate and you're saying hey, castrate, kilo letonye, oh letonye. I'm sorry for our non-Yoruba speaking people. Like, it is that terrible. It is terrible enough to warrant castration. So you want to protect the man's manhood that is using to destroy people's lives? Hello? That should not be the first concern. The first concern should be for the person. So yes, I've been part of that. Should we say kill, capital punishment as in death? I've also I can't remember if I've ever been on that team before, but I won't be surprised. But now I wouldn't say let's be on that team. I wouldn't be on that team of kill the person. Because maybe because I'm just becoming softer as a person, and I realize God can. There's nobody God cannot change.
Yes.
Right? There is nobody. If the law of the land not going to, I mean, that's the law of the land, then everybody has to face the music, right? But as a person, because I know that killing the person or castrating them doesn't actually fix the emotional trauma that's been caused already.
Yeah.
But should the person be punished? Yes, right? So would I'm totally against killing, but the castration, I'm no longer really that team. Perhaps if it's maybe something medical, so you just, I mean, yeah, maybe I would tilt towards that side a little. If you not have manhood, doesn't mean you not make heaven.
Yeah, somebody said.
And if you change and you now become a changed person, you want children, you can adopt. It's not hard. You
Somebody
remember
said,
for the
somebody
rest
said,
of
my,
your life.
somebody said my wife is a very blunt person. A lot of people say you are very blunt. I
There's no
like,
two ways about it.
no, I like the way you are blunt. Let me tell you the truth. You know, these are our 20th live sessions. I know I do research and I do all of those, I put all of those things. We have feedback forum that people send their report on how the session was. And I look at, people know when you are fake. If you are natural and you are very blunt, people know. People want, they know what you are about already. So
Wow,
if you are,
there's nothing to hide. People's lives are getting destroyed. We're talking
yeah,
about, is this packaging? Is this that has destroyed many people's lives? Is that
exactly.
so? For me, when it comes to stuff, please let's say it as it is.
Exactly.
They as what are we hiding? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, let's call this thing, let's say this is reality. Let's say it as it is, and let's all be better for it. Right? So please, the first react, and I must just continue to emphasize this. When sticky situations happen, nobody likes rape, nobody likes to be in that kind of situation. It's detrimental to our relationships and health, our emotional health. But once it happens, it has happened. So the first thing is, the first concern be for the survivor. the first concern, why are you laughing? Kill them or
He says
rapists.
to kill them all.
Let's not kill them. Let's not kill them. But see, the thing is, we must make sure that rapists get punished.
Yeah.
Because part of the trauma of people who go through rape, I've not gone through rape before, and I've not done, it's not like I've done research or anything, but I'm sure that part of the trauma is seeing the person that raped you go unpunished.
Yeah.
I can almost bet that there's evidence to back that up. That part of what makes it even more traumatic is seeing that person go scot-free, celebrated in society, everybody's hailing you, you are living your life, living la vida loca, and here I am living with the evil, the demons that you have left me with. So definitely, please, the law of the land, I'm in support of the law of the land. Be punished. I will pray for you. Jesus will save you. You will go to prison. When you are saved, Jesus will go and use you to save the others in the prison because they to the same. But face the music.
So I know we don't have all the time, and I don't want to take much of your time. We are going to take our 10 minutes that you went away from you.
No problem.
All right, we need our 10 minutes more because we wanted to talk about the warning sign, the warning signals as well. So for enlightenment purposes for people, what are those warning signals for anyone that can become a potential survivor or victim? What are those warning signals that you can share with people?
Okay. So I'm like I said, I've not been raped before, but I have been in situations that, as I said in my IGTV post on my page, that I've been in situations that, see, it's just God that say, one more ye, I will save you. There's situations like that. And there are many situations that can, there's too many situations that can lead to rape, honestly. And it's one of the traumas that females need to live with, whether you're in the office or you go anywhere that is secluded like this is problem. Right? And that's just rape. How about molestation that happens in broad daylight? When they slapped my behind on the main road, it was broad daylight, Palm Avenue in Mushin, Nigeria. So I will never forget. It was very painful because the bike just, if I could chase that bike. Anyway, so I will speak from what I know. For instance, mistakes that I feel I also made that put me in sticky situations. Like I said, I think the first thing is better safe than sorry.
Okay.
So if as people we make that our standard, right, it will help us. So in any situation that you're, any situation you're going to find yourself in, just make sure that in your mind you have set better safe than sorry.
Okay.
Yes, this person is a nice person, is fantastic. Come on, can it big deal? I'll just go to the person's house, just go and say hello, Yes, but better safe. Ask yourself, better safe than sorry. Do you understand? So, for instance, in my own situation, okay, so I'll give you a bit of a background. The one that I remember that was the most stickiest situation was I was doing IT, and because I have background in entertainment, so and entertainment night work is involved. You go out to parties and stuff, events. So this person, and I think I was also naive. I was quite young, and so this person had said, "Oh, he was an affiliate of the office, so it wasn't a staff, but it was that you see in your office all the time. Feels like one of the office people." And then he goes, "Oh, there's this office thing. You have to come, blah blah blah." And then he lied to me that the office had rooms at a hotel officially, and this is not any strange thing. Companies do have those kind of relationships where you give us adverts, we give you free space, you give us rooms, that kind of situation. So for me, I felt like where I would stay was covered, right? Only for after the party in the middle of the night. Apparently uncle lied. And because I couldn't tell my parents that this person lied to me, I told them the same thing I was told, right? That the company has rules and blah blah blah. I was young and naive. I didn't have the confidence to call my parents and say, this is situation. And my parents said very strict. I was raised by very strict parents, so I have to fend for myself, because to call them, that you want to kill yourself. So I couldn't call my parents, which is also a fault in parenting, right? Yes, our parents raised us up, they were too strict. And so when we were in sticky situations, we didn't have the confidence and peace of mind to open up to them. So we'll end up in more problem. Because the people that have our best interest at heart, we did not have the liberty and freedom to speak to them. So yes, if you're going to be like me and be a strict parent, yes, please also make sure that there's room for communication. And when your children are in sticky situations, they can easily open up to you. So I ended up having to stay in this guy's house. And then already that's recipe for disaster. Let's not even go further. So the guy goes, and this person had never shown any kind of interest in me on that level. Never. So it wasn't that of course I was uncomfortable. It was when we got to his house and it turns out it's just one bed and he's saying, let's go and share the bed. I said, no, I'll sleep on the couch. I did not sleep that night. I slept on that couch. I'll go and sleep on your bed. But it was God that saved me. I didn't know where I was. I didn't. So for starters, do not think that the people that are, rapists to be are people that are showing interest in you. For all you care, there are people that are angry with you. They as they are just professional, they are nice. But it doesn't show on the face. Before you know, you'll be behind closed doors and they'll show their true color.
Exactly.
So as much as possible, especially for younger, now we are much older. And that's not to say that older females do not get raped or get in sticky situations. But with age comes, wisdom. Some of the mistakes I made and being naive, of course, that's not going to happen now, right? So if there are any younger females listening, please make your mantra better safe than sorry. I'm also a very liberal person. So when that whole talk of don't visit a guy in his house, to me, it didn't make sense because obviously you trust the person. As in, if you know that this person will rape you, will you go to the person's house? You won't now. You only go to this person's house that you feel like this is my friend. There's no big deal in go to someone's house. But there's danger there because you truly don't know this person. You truly do not know this person. So you just see what they show you. But who they are behind closed doors, you do not know. And you don't want to be the victim that will find out. So when they talk about, don't visit a guy as much as possible, don't do it. And if you have to, make sure that you have given yourself backup plan. Either you are going with someone or, if there's any need that you really need to go, then let it be known. Because you remember, sin thrives in secrecy. So if the person knows that nobody knows you're here. Oh, really? Wow, okay. But as you're entering, daddy, I'm in Lagbaja's house. You just open the door now. Even if there's nobody, do you get you?
It's going to check. It affects even the person. Once they know you have made some calls.
You've told A and B and C, don't worry, I'll call you back in like 10 minutes. I'm at this person's house. Things like that, let people know where you are. Let people know where you're going. Yes, because rape also happens, with maybe parties, people spike drinks or things like that. As much as possible, be careful. Ultimately, just try your best to be safe. But safety is of the Lord, as we know, because honestly, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Because the Yoruba people will say, how they say, something like the people that you're not looking after, you're not sorry. Like the people that you're not looking at their situation, they are chasing, you don't know that they are chasing you. You get things like that. So you don't, when devil wants to use people and when they too want to let the devil to use them, they can be really crafty in their ways. So as much as possible, you try and play your part to be safe, in when you go out. Please always have vex money anywhere you're going. As long as there's somebody else involved, please always make sure that you're sufficient of yourself, because that's another thing. When you're not sufficient of yourself, you have to depend on someone else, then there's problem. In that day now, if I have money to go and collect room somewhere, maybe I will spend my salary and go and I don't have money to go and collect room. So I was forced to be with this person because I couldn't even call my parents. Also have someone you can confide in. So maybe it's not your parents. Have someone who's much older, right, than you are, more responsible, that you can always confide in. So it could be a spiritual mentor or someone that's responsible that can always. So if I couldn't call my parents, if I had someone like that, I would have called that person to say, sir, please help me. I can't call my parents. This, that. So that's also good. So they could be older friends or they could be your age mate, but just somebody that can sort of look after you, that has your best interest at heart. What else? Really, my options are limited because this happens in diverse ways. How do you tell a child that's been raped by the father? You say, go and move to somebody else's house. So this thing is not just, the responsibility is not just for the female or for the potential survivor to be. It's on everybody. As parents, We need better relationship with our children. As human beings, we need to stop covering the people that have purpose. As far as that situation is concerned, yes, they are your brother, your uncle or sister or loved one, your father. In that situation, they are rapists.
Yeah.
They are the rapists. They have chosen that label, and let them face the music.
Yes.
So we all must do better as people, even as a church. And I think this is very important. I saw a report recently. Some lady claims that most of the cases she had handled, that most of them were in religious settings. We cannot deny that this happens. Anybody that's in position of power and authority, they can always use it.
Yes. You are mentioning, because it looks more like we have emphasized, and from the comments of people, we have spoken more on forceful rape. There's rape by coercion. Somebody's coerced. So that one is even more difficult, because, like you mentioned, the church one is more than any other one, because it's not forceful.
Yes, you use your influence.
Trust has been built over time.
Yes.
And so it's by coercion, there's no force. And that it can even go on for years. Because that one, you can't even report to anybody. After the deed is done, you see, gives the person money, calms the person down, takes care of the person, no fighting, the person is not angry, it's not upset. So, and it happens.
And that's worse, actually.
Yes.
Because that has the potential of lasting a much longer time, right? Where do we begin?
I don't know.
We must see. For me, I'd say that culture of silence needs to be broken, right? So because and I think I have a relative who that happened to. Something very, they were raped by a spiritual figure that was that was close to the family. Ultimately, when the lady spoke up, she was blamed, right? I mean, so she didn't even reveal who had done it until years later. But because she got pregnant, and so, obviously, Omokomo, bad child, you've been sleeping around. There was no openness to say that the person that you invited to the house is the one that did it. Until years later, when she was much older, that was when she revealed the person, that this person raped me. So I think I can relate with that. And I think, again, the responsibility is on everyone, not just because if we put the responsibility on just the female in question, we will continue to see this situation because they are working in isolation. It's like hunter and, prey kind of situation. When somebody wants to pray, they will pray, don't kill anybody. Or if you tell somebody, oh, are you alone in the house? Yes. Do you get, they try to isolate. So once anybody is in isolation, they're already a lot powerless. But if as a society we promote this image that, see, no female is in isolation, because we're talking about females obviously, but it happens to males as well. But once the societal consciousness is there that a potential victim is not alone, it makes it easier. Once a potential victim knows, if I shout, the person that is the perpetrator is the one that will be shamed, not me. Because the image we're still projecting now is that the victim is the reason that you called for it. Why didn't you talk? We are still projecting that idea into the... So a lot of people will not talk. Do you know, see, the fraction of people that are talking is like less than a drop of water in the ocean.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know how many people will go to their graves with, that they will never tell their husband, never tell anybody. It will go to their grave with them.
So
do you know how many people are like that?
We have like 30 seconds. I want us to end this and join back because we have more guys than girls. And I want to say some things to the guys that are listening as well. Please, is that okay?
Definitely, sure.
Thank you very much. So we are going to end this session, and please, guys, join us again. Thank you very much.